In the fact of never giving birth myself, I have often wondered and desired to feel that little flitter of wonder in my belly and experience the joy of that. However, I never really longed for the birthing process, if you will. One of my sister-in-laws privileged me the opportunity to be with her in the delivery room when she delivered two of my nieces. And I decided, I'm just not that attracted to pain. And I did say that if I ever did get pregnant, that about the 8th month, I'd ask for an epidural and just carry around on a drip, just in case. But there was one day that I was in the delivery ward waiting on a nephew to be born, and someone apparently did not ask for an epidural. And somewhere in the pushing process, she decided she wanted one. And I heard screams coming down that hall that were like nothing I had ever heard before. And then I heard the doctor scream back. And the doctor said these words. She said, "It's too late. Push." And in a minute, you heard the beautiful sounds and cries of a baby. But every woman who has ever given birth knows that when the pushing is over, and they place that little smashed face, wrinkled miracle in your arms, that you forget every single moment of pushing. You could have been in labor for 3 days, and one glimpse of that face and every unholy word you spoke to husband and doctor and nurse, everyone's forgotten. And I find it interesting in our passage this morning that Jesus uses this metaphor to explain to his disciples that you're going to miss me, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to experience some really challenging things, but I want to tell you something. That moment that you see my face again, every ounce of pushing you'll ever face in this life will be forgotten. This was a moment that Jesus was about to ascend. And over the next 3 weeks, you're going to hear some foundational messages. This morning is on the Ascension. Next week is on Pentecost. And then the next week is on the Trinity. And I'm really glad I did not get that sermon. So I'm going to be grateful to have the Ascension this morning. But one of the beautiful things about the Ascension of Jesus is this fact, that he first descended. Pastor Mark talked about this last week. Jesus didn't just show up as a baby. Jesus had been in glory. Jesus left being worshiped and magnified in the splendors of heaven to descend himself here on earth so that he could understand first the human experience, and so that he could save us and give us a hope of eternity. But the beauty is that he really does understand what it's like to be human. Hebrews 4:15 says it this way in the Amplified. It says, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize and understand," listen to this, "our weakness and temptation." It's not an either or. Jesus understands both. He understands the weak places and challenging places of our life, and he also understands the temptations that we will face. He said, "But one who has been tempted," and look at these words, "knowing exactly how it feels to be human." One of the reasons he descended was so he could have compassion for us in this human experience that we live. He knows what it's like to be a kid. He knows what it's like to have siblings and have sibling rivalry. He knows what it's like to have to obey your parents and to be scolded by them. He knows what it's like to work with your dad. He knows what it's like to go out on your own. He knows what it's like to make friends. And he knows what it's like to be betrayed by them. He knows the confines of time. And he knows that at the end of the day, our human bodies get tired, and very often so do our human minds. And he understands the most excruciating types of pain, from the physical body to the human heart. The pains that leave you with nothing but groans. He gets us, as the new advertisement says. He knows what it is to live in a world where things die and things break and things hurt and things don't live up to your expectations. He knows what it's like to see someone tormented by demons and someone discarded and someone dismissed. And he also knows what it looks like to see love on display in its most beautiful forms. So the ascension of our Savior afforded us the fact that he first descended